Hey everybody, welcome back to JT Channel and welcome to my review of WWE Crown Jewel Perth. If you're wondering why I did an intro with a coffee mug, it's because I have a ton of stuff to do today. I've only been awake for like 40 minutes, maybe not even that long, less than an hour, and I had to jump straight into this. I've got multiple videos I want to do today and things to do, places to go, people to see, just a ton of stuff to do. And I just knew that this was the first thing I wanted to do, so coffee. But my overall reaction to Crown Jewel Perth, it was really good. It was heads and tails and shoulders and knees and toes above WrestlePalooza, and it was probably one of the better Crown Jewel shows. I have to go back and look. Even though we had the stupid titles and all that, the story beats were really good. Like, they had some of the best story advances, I don't know, that I have seen, especially with this first match, which we'll get to in just a second. But my overall quote-unquote spoiler-free review is that it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. All the matches were fantastic. We'll get to my version, my breakdown, in just a second. And again, the stories were great. And it wasn't too long of a show, in my opinion. So, more coffee. We're going to kick things off with the first match of the night, which I was stoked that they did this first. Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns in an Australian street fight. And you damn right, Bronson Reed won. Now, I wanted that anyway. I picked Bronson Reed, and that's great. But what I didn't realize, and maybe it's because you don't think about these things when you've been watching wrestling as long as I have, Bronson is the first person, or the second person, to pin Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match in the last 5 years. So the only other person being Cody Rhodes, obviously. So that's absolutely monstrous. No pun intended. And speaking of monstrous, this was a hoss fight. This was the big meaty men slapping meat that Big E's always talking about. This was absolutely brilliant. These two just hit each other as hard as they could, and then they hit each other as hard as they could with weapons. Then they threw each other through other stuff. They brawled in the crowd for a while. It was just fantastic stuff. I think they spent 85% of the match outside the ring. You had cricket bats. You had rugby balls. Roman Reigns throwing a rugby ball at Paul Heyman made me giggle. Kendo sticks, steel chairs, trash cans, stop signs. A WWE plunder brawl. It was really good stuff. I guess we mostly have to talk about the finish, the last 5 to 6 minutes. I'm not sure how long it was. Probably not as long as I thought. A lot of times WWE can fit a lot into just a couple of minutes. But Roman Reigns was dominating. He was going to spear Bronson through the barricade. Instead, as he's running around the ring, Braun Breaker jumps over and spears Roman Reigns, which I still think Braun Breaker has the best spear in the business right now. I literally can't think of anybody that has a better spear. And then they do the Shield powerbomb through the announce table. Takes out Roman for a little while. Then they put him in the ring, and I think they're about to do the tsunami. Then the Usos come out. And I made my point about this, that I was a little worried about having the Usos involved in this because they're also involved with LA Knight and CM Punk. But this just means that this is a massive feud. With if they continue it with the Vision, that's pretty cool. All these people in one big feud. That's a lot of top stars. But the Usos come out. They take out Braun Breaker. They take out Bronson Reed. But then Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker start taking them out. I think Breaker spears Jimmy through the barricade. Yeah. And Jay's still trying to help while Bronson's fighting them both off. And eventually there's a table in the corner, and Bronson Reed's trying to do the jagged edge through it. Roman gets off of Bronson and knocks him away. And Jay runs to spear Bronson. Bronson gets out of the way, and Jay spears Roman through the announce table. Which of course means, or not the announce table, the table in the corner, which of course means that Jay is freaking out. And then I think Bronson hits the jagged edge, maybe Braun Breaker comes back and hits him with a spear. Then Bronson Reed puts Roman Reigns in position, hits the tsunami, 1, 2, 3. Again, absolutely massive. WWE has got to capitalize on this. Like I said, Bronson Reed's only the second man to pin Roman Reigns in a singles match in the last 5 years. Again, absolutely huge, brilliant match. What a start. Bronson's from Australia too, so I thought that was, awesome. You give the Australian the opening win. like I said, the story beats to this were great because actually after the match, the cameraman was like zoomed in to listen because Roman was sitting there with the Usos and he was screaming at him, and you caught him saying, "Because of y'all, people think I can't do shit on my own." Those were his exact words. He's like, "I didn't want you out here. This doesn't work unless we win. We're not winning." And then he said, "I don't want to see either one of y'all till Christmas," which made me giggle, made the cameraman giggle, made the people I watch. They was like, "That's funny." So Roman is just gonna not speak to his cousins until Christmas. He's like, "I don't want to see either one of y'all till Christmas." It was great. So then Roman storms off, and then Jay flips out, and Jay's like, "It's not all about him. Why is it always about him? He ain't changed a bit." Then he storms off away from Jimmy, and then Jimmy's just in the ring having a complete meltdown, like, "What is going on with my brother? What is going on with my cousin?" So it's so funny because it was like the bloodline almost reunited, and then they broke up again. It's really good, right? The story's fantastic. I apologize for my stuttering. Like I said, I'm just waking up. I'm looking forward to what happens next. I don't know if Roman's going to take time off again. They do more Roman Reigns returns than they do Adam Copeland returns. But I'm looking forward to seeing it again. So excited that Bronson Reed won this match. They have to capitalize on it. They have to. They can't do what they've been doing where somebody wins a massive match and then just don't do anything. Put him for the IC title, put him and Braun Breaker in the tag division, just something. This was too big for that, but really awesome match, really awesome way to kick off Crown Jewel Perth. And again, Bronson Reed just pinned Roman Reigns. Next up was the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. I'll be nice. Stephanie Vaquer versus Tiffany Stratton. Incredible. I said during my predictions, picks and predictions, that I wasn't sure how their styles would mesh, just because their styles are pretty different, and sometimes you never know. Like a good example, and I'm not trying to compare the two, so don't come at me, but an example I think of a lot when I'm unsure of how two people are going to work together is Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker. That, to me, that was an absolutely huge match, two massive stars, and it wasn't that good. They didn't click, so it happens. Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton clicked. Amazing, fantastic, just such a good match. They knew what they were doing the whole time. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Tiffany Stratton, she's not underrated, but I think there's people that don't give her enough credit due to pretty much, how she is booked. It's not her fault. She's booked in the exact same feuds for 6 months straight, and people are like, is this all she can do? And the thing is, even in those repeat feuds, she's still really good. It's just I think people forget how good she is when she's put with the same people all the time. And Stephanie Vaquer obviously is one of the best in the world. I wasn't worried. Like I was about to say, I don't know what I was worried about. I wasn't worried. I was just curious how this would work. Absolutely brilliant match. It ended with that corkscrew splash that Stephanie does. I got so hyped when she hit it. I called it the spinal tap. It's not the spinal tap. Because the spinal tap was, it was more of a senton. You landed on your back when you hit it. Whereas Stephanie lands as a splash. So, again, just a fantastic match. Stephanie Vaquer wins. The right winner, in my opinion. You need to continue to take her rise and push her higher and higher and higher. Excuse me. I stick by what I said during my picks and predictions. I just hope they both have good feuds coming out of this. I don't know who. I know that Stephanie and Tiffany did that match with Julia and Kiana James. I don't mind Julia going after the women's world title. WWE does need to do more with the women's U.S. championship, but that's another conversation for another day. Sorry, I'm looking away. My cat is being weird. One of my cats. Train of thought, come back. Stephanie, I've already made it clear who I want her to face. Sorry, my voice cracked. What the hell was that? Her and Rhea would be fantastic, but I'm not going to get all into that. Let's just one step at a time. But again, fantastic matchup. Just push them both. Continue to push them both. Give them good feuds. Yes, she won the stupid belt and the stupid ring, but it's fine. And yeah, wonderful match. You definitely need to go see it. And Stephanie Vaquer is your Crown Jewel champion, like the champion of champions. Whatever. Up next was finishing moves, the match. AJ Styles versus John Cena. I don't know how to describe this because it's, if you put, and this is how this is how Simon Miller put it. So I'm taking his words and I'm putting them to my audience. If you took any other two wrestlers and did what these two did, people would have hated it. People would have immediately criticized it. The crowd might have even booed them. But because it's John Cena and AJ Styles, this was something else. It's, my brain is saying it's one of the best matches I've ever seen. It's match of the year, 5 stars, 6 stars in the Tokyo Dome. It needs to be put in the Hall of Fame next year. But if you were to slow down and look at it objectively, they spent a few minutes actually kind of wrestling, doing some fun moves, having a good time with each other, and then they literally spent the rest of the match doing other wrestlers' finishers. They were spamming wrestling finishes for like, I swear, 20 minutes. I'd have to go back and look how long the match was. But John Cena was paying tribute to a bunch of wrestlers that he knows he's not going to get to wrestle. And AJ Styles paid tribute to the same kind of wrestlers, including some TNA legends. Like, he did like the Coquina Clutch, Samoa Joe. He did the Angel's Wings, Christopher Daniels. He did Sweet Chin Music. Okay? Everyone knows AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels was like a dream match among dream matches. And he tuned up the band and everything. But then you had, I know I'm missing some. He also did a Springboard 450. That's his move, but I thought it was cool that he could still hit it. And I know I'm missing some that he did, but I can't think of all of them right now. But John Cena, on the other hand, oh my God, he did everything. He did choke slams. He did a choke slam. He did the Sister Abigail, the proper Sister Abigail, kissing the forehead, slamming him down. He did the skull crushing finale. He did the Walls of Jericho. He did the Accolade from Rusev. I mean, it was just, they spent so long just spamming moves. And then John Cena, and again, shout outs to Simon Miller, because he described this in a way that I didn't even think about. John Cena, for about 3 or 4 minutes, turned into Randy Orton. It was hilarious. So he does the draping DDT, and not only does while he's doing it, he's doing all of Orton's facial stuff and the hollering, rah, 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 and then he hits it, and then he does Orton's taunt, hits the RKO. AJ Styles kicks out at 2, and then John goes to the corner and starts teasing a punt, goes for the punt, and misses, and that's when I think AJ may have hit the Angel's Wings, or maybe a Styles Clash. Either way, absolutely hilarious. John Cena couldn't just do one of Orton's moves. He had to do all of Orton's facials, taunts, the hollering, screaming stuff. Amazing. And then the match ends. They both hit their finishes a couple times. AJ Styles does a dive, and for like a crossbody, John Cena catches him and rolls through. And you think he's going to do the roll through, pop up, one more AA. No, he puts AJ Styles into the tombstone pile driver position, hits a tombstone, picks AJ up, hits the AA, 1, 2, 3. Again, silly, ridiculous. AJ, I just remember more. AJ hit the Ushigoroshi and an AA at one point. Just, it's silly, but it was so much fun. If you're like me and live crowd reactions kind of influence your reaction, like if a crowd is quiet, you're like, oh no, this isn't good. The crowd was brilliant during this. They were chanting for pretty much every wrestler that AJ and John Cena were emulating, copying, whatever you want to say. It just, I don't even know what to say. Like I said, if you put any other two wrestlers in this position, they would get booed out of the building. And I'm sure that little corner of the internet, the Cheeto-fingered losers who don't leave their basements, are mad. They're, oh, what all they did was finishers. Grr. I don't care about those guys. they fucking suck. They hate everything. This was fun. Like, I think we're going to look back on this match fondly in 2 years, because AJ Styles announced during the kickoff show that he's retiring next year. I still don't know if it's like a retirement tour, quote unquote, or if he's going to like have his last match at WrestleMania or whatever. But we're going to look back on this fondly. I think a lot of people are gonna say this was match of the year, just based on nostalgia. Also, I don't want to forget that after Alicia Taylor did her brilliant John Cena introduction, he handed her a sheet of paper with stuff printed out on it, and it was a special introduction for AJ Styles, where she called him the undisputed king of total nonstop action, the ace and forever leader of the Bullet Club. That was surprising. And it said, like, let's see if you can beat up John Cena one last time. Just good stuff all around. If you like nostalgia, if you like to have fun, if you don't mind that kind of, I don't know, shutting your brain off a little bit, I suppose, this match was awesome for you. If you're looking for a 7-star Kenny Omega match, why are you watching Crown Jewel? But overall, super fun. I'll remember this match forever. John Cena and AJ Styles are two of the best to ever do it. The wrestling world is going to be completely different without them. But John Cena does defeat AJ Styles. Oh, and I almost forgot. I think he's down to 5 dates left. I think we have Survivor Series, the Saturday Night's Main Event, and 3 Raws, or there's another pay-per-view in there I'm not thinking of. So we're real close to being the end of John Cena's career. Up next was the Kabuki Warriors taking on Io Sky and Chris Motionless, Rhea Ripley, and it was pretty much exactly what you expected it to be. It was super fun. The crowd, obviously, Rhea Ripley, hello. It was a really good match. Again, I don't think there was a single match on this show that you could say was bad or not interesting. Damn it. Sorry. Because like I said, the John Cena AJ Styles match may not have been, like I said, a 6-star, tons of dives and Hurricane Ranas and 67 pile drivers and super kicks, but it was really fun. This match, great story beats throughout. I loved how at the start of the match, Kairi and Asuka just kind of jumped them. I don't know if Kairi just went for it in this match or if she was still too scared of Asuka to argue, because she was pretty aggressive in this one, which I love to see. The match started with Rhea and Kairi being taken out, so we get Io and Asuka for a little while. I still want that proper singles feud. Other than that, it's 4 of the best women's wrestlers ever, including Io Sky, who Michael Cole said he thinks is the best wrestler in the world. And I don't want to argue with him, honestly. I love Io. I did get the finish I wanted, sort of, where Rhea hit the Riptide and then she tagged in Io, and then hit the Riptide, and then Io hit the over the moonsault, and Io picked up the 1, 2, 3, which the Australian crowd, right? They were in West Australia, I think. Rhea is from South Australia, so Rhea Ripley was in this match, and I think Io Sky was just as over as Rhea Ripley, which makes me so happy to see Io that over. Io picks up the win over Kairi Sane. Asuka looked upset. Nothing happened after the match, which I'm fine with. We can continue to tell the stories on Raw and kind of see where we go from here. Any of these 4 women, yes, including Kairi Sane, could challenge for the women's world title. Rhea and Io are obviously friends. I'm curious, like I said, to see what Asuka does with Kairi now since she got the loss. Does Kairi continue to hide under Asuka? Does Asuka beat up Kairi? Or does Kairi go full heel and maybe we get this match again? I don't know. We don't need to do the match again. But overall, again, 4 of the best. Really, really good. Love the fact that they let Io pick up the win. Again, super over even in Australia with Rhea Ripley. Looking forward to seeing what they do next. But Rio, as they've been called, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky pick up the win over the Kabuki Warriors in Australia. I realized I forgot something from the AJ Styles John Cena match, so I apologize. I know this seems random, but AJ Styles also hit a dead eye at one point. I want to throw that in there. I almost forgot. I did forget until just now. I don't know who else does a move like the dead eye, so I'm curious if AJ just wanted to hit that move to throw people off, or if he was emulating Hangman, or is there someone else? So you guys let me know if anybody else does a move just like the dead eye, and that'll tell me if maybe AJ was trying to emulate someone else, but I don't know. The main event, of course, Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. What do you want me to tell you? It's Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. They could have sat down to play a game of checkers, and it would have been an instant classic. Really good stuff. my wife pointed out that it kind of felt lackluster because it didn't mean anything. She hasn't been watching wrestling nearly as long as I have, and she doesn't watch it as regularly as I do. So she got the impression that Cody was going to win, whereas I was getting the impression that Seth was going to win. So I thought that was cool. You can pick up different vibes from different people watching this. But Cody dominated for a while, and then Seth dominated for a while. They hit each other with every move under the sun. Not as many moves as AJ and John Cena, but, you know, pedigrees and crossroads and super kicks and what else? Stomps, you know, all the big moves. There was one point where Seth Rollins yelled at Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, like pushed Michael Cole and was screaming at everybody, because of how mad he was getting. It was really good stuff, compelling, watching Seth just lose his mind. His gear was also like inspired where like down the side there was pieces of every outfit he's ever worn in Cody Rhodes matches. I thought that was cool. Yeah, just really good stuff. There was a top rope crossroads that I don't think I've ever seen before, and it was terrifying because of how they had to balance on the top ropes. It was really terrifying and really, really cool. Seth hit crossroads at one point. I thought that was cool as well. And then one of the story beats of the match, again, great story beats on the show, was that he had the watch that Cody Rhodes gave him after WrestleMania 40, because Seth helped him finish the story, and he gave him this really expensive Rolex watch, and he was wearing that. And when Seth couldn't beat Cody, he went to go get the watch. He had it around his fist, and then he changed his mind. He threw it, he slammed it down in the corner, got in the ring, and almost got pinned. I think he might have gotten hit by a crossroads at that point. Later on, Cody was going for a pedigree, and Seth ran underneath him, grabbed the watch, put it on his fist, and then Cody, they had a little back and forth, and maybe it was Seth accidentally bumped into the referee. So the referee goes down for just, he didn't go out, but he went down. And Cody goes for the crossroads again. Seth, with the watch wrapped around his fist, punches Cody right in the jaw. Just, ugh. Cody goes down. Seth gets up, throws the watch out of the ring, hits a stomp, climbs to the second rope, hits a super stomp, which Cody sells and bumps really well off of. Like, he was standing up, bent over, hits the stomp, Cody's head like spikes to the ground, then he flips over, does like a somersault bump, I should say. Cody gets pinned, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I needed that drink really badly. Absolutely brilliant. Seth Rollins wins, finally beats Cody Rhodes. Does like a big sigh of relief almost. No Vision. Before this match, or earlier in the night, Paul Heyman told Bronson and Braun, don't interfere no matter what. But we're going to set up an after party because we're going to assume Seth is going to win. And then Seth did. Again, much to give my wife credit, this match, the ending was, it was a good match and stuff, but it didn't feel all that important. Like, Seth finally beat Cody, but for what? Like, he won the crown. Again, he won a belt that we're never going to talk about again. At most, they may still have like the ring on Monday because they're still in Australia. Maybe they'll bring the belt with them, but once they go back to the States, we're never going to see that stuff again until next year when we do this bullshit again. The only thing, I said this a lot, I would still not love it, but I have a little less hatred toward this idea if it was defended properly. Because Cody won last year as well. If last year's women's winner came out and had to defend it, like I compared it to the Dynamite Diamond Ring, that's defended every year in AEW. It's a one time a year thing, but it's defended. This is just, who are the champions? Put them in a match. But the match was fantastic. Seth Rollins wins. Right move. Where do we go from here? There's so much going on in the main event scene on Monday Night Raw. So you could do a lot. You've got Roman, you've got Jay, you've got CM Punk, you've got LA Knight, you've got Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, who aren't going to try to take the title from Seth Rollins necessarily, unless we're going that direction. We're going to break the vision up. But I'm just so excited to see what they do with Seth and Cody. I know that Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre are in the middle of a feud, and Jacob was like, I'm coming for that belt. So we'll see. Again, same complaint as the women's match. First of all, dumb for the whole reason for the match. But as long as they have a good feud for the rest of the year, I'm happy. So that does it for me. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Again, I apologize for my brain farts and my stuttering. First thing in the morning, coffee. I've got multiple videos I want to make today, and we've got tons of stuff to do throughout the day. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Did you enjoy Crown Jewel Perth? I do think it was one of the better shows, one of the better Crown Jewels. Really good matches, really good stories. Way better than Russell Luther. And now we just have to hope that there's good stuff coming out of it. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there's been a creative change for at least SmackDown. And both Raw and SmackDown felt different the last 2 weeks, in my opinion. So hopefully we continue down that path. Hell, actually, not to keep babbling, but we had the Aleister Black, Damian Priest stuff. Like, the closing shot of SmackDown was Aleister Black with his wife, Zelina Vega. And Aleister Black used a freaking fireball. Like, and you got the MFTs challenging the Wyatts. Like, I think WWE is clicking again. So hopefully heading into Survivor Series and the end of the year and into the next year's Royal Rumble and everything, WWE has some good plans in place. Until next time, this is JT Channel. I am JT. I'll see you in the next one.